for the first couple. So, Vinny, no, we don't need those. That's
backup. But there we are. So, Vinny, I think you're on. We can't see you, but
which is good.
James is on. Vinny, hang on a second, James.
Sorry about that.
That's okay, my friend. You go on. You kick off.
I'll start video as well. You can see me. I'll ruin your day for you. There
Wonderbar. We go. There we go.
Yeah, we'll start with team news first of all. Obviously, we know that Nat Phillips can't play after his man of the match performance at the weekend. I'd imagine that Rhys Williams then obviously wants to take the opportunity as well to show again what he can do. But is this more an occasion for experience? So you're giving Joel Matip every chance to prove his fitness? And also, how are Thiago and Keita? How ready are they?
About 12 questions, if I'm right. So, Naby and Joel trained yesterday fully. And I didn't do any decisions yet because we are still only 2 days after the game, and we have to wait pretty much until the medical department gives us green or orange or red light, pretty much, and so we wait. So, but we have in this moment more centre halves available than we probably will line up together. So, which is good. Well, and Naby trained as well. Yeah.
I also want to ask you about Diogo Jotter. I'm looking at the stats and seeing that Mo scored 6 in his first 9 appearances at the club. Sadio scored 4 in his first 9 appearances. And now obviously Diogo scored 4 in his first 9 appearances. So what level do you feel that he's reached already? And I suppose how much trust do you have in him already?
He's good. So how players actually should be when they join us. He's in the best age, 23, already experienced, played a lot of Premier League football, made his way up in Portugal. So it's a really good boy and a really good signing. So that's the situation. And we never hold players back in the beginning. It's just that players usually need time to adapt. But I knew before that will not take too long for him because of the way Wolves is playing. As they play a different system, but the intensity level for Wolves was always incredibly high. There might be only one player who has to defend slightly less, but not really a lot less, but slightly, is Jimenez. But the boys on the wings, whatever, they had to run like crazy. So it was clear physically will be fine. Technically, we saw he is good, and all the rest is then about, finding your feet pretty much in a new environment. And the boys make it always easy for new players. And Diogo is a very good guy. So he's really open. His English is brilliant. So it means it was easy for him to step in the team, in the squad, in the dressing room if you want. And now he played, of course, he was involved in games, but like they all will be involved in games. So it's special. I said Shaq played an incredibly important role as well, had a difficult time, so that's the same importance for us. And that all the others stay fit is incredibly important. So it's good that we have more than 11 who look like they have a good shape in the moment. Well, welcome.
Thank you, Vinny. Then we'll go to James from TalkSport, and after James, we'll start going through the list that we have with the hands raised with Carl Markham. But for now, James, TalkSport.
Jurgen, sitting at the top of the Premier League table, 100% record so far in Europe. Just how proud are you of the way your side has responded to the number of setbacks you've already had so far this season?
I don't feel pride in the moment, to be honest. It's just we are in a situation and we have to deal with it, like all have to deal with it. The whole world has to deal with the situation. And so, no, it's what I expect from us. But I'm not, I think we have to be a little bit careful. Like around the Arsenal game, we were running away in the league. Then we got a proper knock. It's not be careful for us. So we are fine. We know where we stand. It's just in the judgment from outside. Then we lost at Aston Villa, obviously pretty clear. Found our feedback, got other setbacks in the league with injuries, these kind of things, and it's like it is always. We always had injuries before. We always had to deal with the situation. That's what we do now. But look, it's really early in the season, so I don't think we should think too much about where we stand in the different competitions. I think we do pretty well with just being focused on the next game. And the next one is for sure so far the biggest challenge in the Champions League, because Ajax is a challenge as well, Midtjylland of course as well, but Atalanta, with all what they did now in the last 2-3 years, is a really settled team and difficult to play against, very special in their approach, slightly similar to Leeds, let me say like this, organization-wise and these kind of things. So it will be a tough one.
And Jürgen, can I just ask you quickly about Mohamed Salah, because he has received some criticism in recent days because of the way he won the penalty. Do you think that criticism is fair?
No, I don't know what people need what can I say? Look, it was a foul. I think it was pretty much by everybody who saw the situation, saw it. Believe it or not, yesterday morning I spoke to Mo about how he feels, and he has exactly 3 proper knocks on the foot, and one of them is from the penalty situation. That's how it is. So there's a knock, and then you go down or not, whatever. Sometimes the refs whistle it. We don't talk that long about penalties we don't get, to be honest, in other games. But then obviously now 3 days or 2 days after the game we talk about that, and there was clear contact. So what can I say? No, I don't understand the criticism.
On to James. We'll probably come back to you for a question when Trent's here. Carl Markham for a question or two to you, Jürgen. Carl.
Hi, Jürgen.
Hi, Carl.
Hi. Can I just ask you about the re-emergence of Shaqiri? We didn't see much of him sort of second half of last season, but this season he's already had a major impact, and the role he's sort of playing, I think we generally thought of him as being a winger, but the 2 passes he's made to help those last 2 goals have shown something different to his game.
Oh no, Shaq can play the wing, has everything for that, but is a creative player, played for Switzerland on the 10, so they know a lot about football there, so they wouldn't bring him there if they think he's better in another position. So Shaq is a versatile offensive player, played for us on obviously the 8 wing and now 10 when he came on. That's all the positions he can play. Yes, he wasn't not involved for disciplinary reasons or whatever. He was injured, unfortunately, and sometimes players have a bad run with injuries. And that's what he had. It's not that he was that often injured, but the calf made some problems. Now everything is fine, and but just good for him and even better for us, because we missed him last year in a lot of moments in the last season. And it's not that we wanted to let him or keep him out of the team. He's a good player, a really good player who had a massive impact in pretty much all the games he played. Was part of some of the biggest games in our common history. So just happy to have him back.
On that front, I mean, the fact he's now back and playing, I think when he wasn't playing and he missed a lot of games last season, there was speculation about whether he would be able to have a future at the club. But the fact that he's playing and contributing suggests that he's almost got a fresh start for you.
That's how it always is. That's how it always is. The transfer window is there for rumors, for sometimes for talks, not all the time, but always for rumors. And we are barely involved in these kind of things. So whatever happened out there, I'm not even aware of. But I'm now really happy that he's here, and all the rest will start again in 4, 5, 6 weeks. I don't know exactly when the next transfer window it will be open again. So we will see, but nothing really to say about. That's the last transfer window feels like it's 4 years ago.
Okay, the last 2 questions as it stands to Jürgen Klopp will be Per from TV2 Norway, and then we'll finish with Nate Williams and Leicester's any final hands are gone. Per, over to you first of all.
Hi Jürgen. Just wondering about Atalanta. They really impressed in the Champions League last season. How good are they in your opinion, and what do you make of the journey they had over these last few years?
Very good, very good. Top players, top recruitment. Very, very well organized. Play their system with 100% conviction, so they know exactly what everybody has to do. They use the skills of the individuals in an incredibly smart way. So you can exactly see how they use the strikers, how they use the strikers in different ways. You can see Gomez role in midfield, which is a completely free, floating, whatever, genius, running everywhere around, make it really difficult to catch him. There's a lot of impressive developments of the players as well. So with Gosens, is one player, he plays, is now German international. Before he played that role at Atalanta, I'm not sure a lot of people knew about him. So that's just one example. And so they have a lot of these kind of stories, and they are obviously they have in the team a really good atmosphere and in general and a good mood and a proper fighting unit. So I was last year not surprised. Of course, I didn't know too much about Atalanta before it started, but before the season started. But I knew about the role they played, obviously in Italy, which was the qualification and for the Champions League. But in the Champions League, absolutely. But the last season was a good one as well. So we know how difficult the last season was for everybody, and for sure in Bergamo it was not easier. In the beginning, for sure, more difficult. So and they deal with the situation, all these kind of things. So they have all our respect. And so I know how good they are. It was actually I enjoyed the analysis. I enjoyed watching them because it's really interesting. And how always in life, if you see something interesting, you should try to learn a little bit of it, and that's what we always try. But in this case, for sure, it's possible for us.
Okay, final two questions to Jurgen Klopp will come from Nate Williams, and then we'll finish with Lewis Gibson. Can those of you who will want questions to Trent, obviously we'll ask in a moment for the hands-up mechanism for that. But first of all, Nate.
Hi Jurgen, my question is about Diogo. He's been really good coming off the bench and scoring goals recently. Another player that did that not so long ago was Divock Origi, but whenever he started, he didn't seem to have the same effect. So my question to you is, what is the difference between, why are players different in scoring off the bench to the ones that start, and what convinces you to give those bench players a starting place?
First and foremost, maybe we should not forget that Divock Origi had really good games when he started. He started against Barcelona, he started against Everton, scored spectacular and very important goals. And for sure not the only two games where it worked out, but maybe the two most famous. The difference is between starting and coming from the bench is so many differences. I'm not sure we have the time to figure that question 100% out. But it's one is the player before a game gets much more information. Who starts the game gets much more information than the player who is coming on as a sub, because it's just a question of time. You stand there and you try to give the most important information, but not all of them. But it's about coming in, finding rhythm, being directly spot on, these kind of things. And then, but not a lot of pressure, because the boys sit outside and then look at that. Sometimes it's now not in a Divock case or in a Diogo case, but sometimes when a player starts a game, he has a full night at least to deal with that, to realize that he will start the next day and all these kind of things. So yeah, there are plenty of differences, but most of them are personal. So what are you doing? But it's never forever. That you struggle with it or not. It's just like a learning process. Both of it. Coming on is not easy, and starting a Premier League game when you are fresh, new, and want to convince the whole world, then that's all. There's a lot of pressure involved. So that's why players sometimes perform slightly under their usual level.
Fantastic. And then last question for Jurgen Klopp is from Lewis Gibson, and then if people can start using the hands-up mechanism for Trent, that would be great. Yes, Lewis Gibson.
Good morning, Jurgen.
Hello.
Back to Atalanta. Last season, they scored 95 goals in Serie A. It's the most in 60 years for an Italian side. Obviously, Liverpool were second in the most goals scored last year in the Premier League. How do you plan on tackling that? And are you going to change your game plan from what you would normally set up?
In general, in football, it's always like this. You sometimes you have to defend the situation in the last moment when with a block or a goalie save. That's absolutely okay. But always when a team is really good in creating finishing moments. So when they score 95 goals, they have for sure much more chances. So that means these kind of situations where you have to try to to deny them, if you want. That you just have to make sure that the players who are usually finishing off the situations, that they don't get the ball that often. That you can do that, because that's something you can do together. The block is one player, the save is one player, all the rest is for 11 players, and that's why we work on that pretty often, to be honest, and that's the match plan. That would not be different in any situation. So it's, how I said, we respect that, and they are a threat. And again, the Midtjylland game was really a top example for how they are. Even on a not sunny, shiny day, whatever, they score 4 goals. So that was quite impressive, and we are aware of it. And until tomorrow, we have time to make sure that we can deal with it.
Fantastic. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Jürgen.
Welcome.
As I say, thank you very much. That's that. First part of the presser done. If you guys can stay there, we'll be with you in a few minutes with Trent. We just need to do a quick changeover. But we'll keep the camera going, and then we'll come back on with the sound in a bit. Okay.
with 2 wins, but also to the top of the Premier League as well. What was really said to get things going once again?
Nothing distinctive really. It was kind of, we as players in situations like that, you understand that something went right and there's no reason why you should be conceding 7 goals in a game. But the main thing was to kind of learn from it as soon as possible. Obviously we had the international break, which broke things up and probably helped us to probably clear our minds from what had just happened, and then be able to come back, and obviously came back into a tough game, the derby, and was able to get a decent result and kick on from there. And then just getting into the rhythm of playing 2-3 games a week and picking up momentum really helps.
Obviously, as well, in the Champions League, you've kept 2 clean sheets in the 2 games so far, but only 1 in the Premier League so far this season. So is that a cause for concern at all?
Not really. I think for us, we want the 3 points. I think that's our main objective going into games. I think at a time you might start to think about clean sheets and stuff like that, but for us as of right now, it's about getting 3 points and seeing how we can put ourselves in good positions in all competitions.
We also spoke with the boss about the impact of Diogo Jotter. I just wonder what you guys make of him as well, because obviously we saw Mo when he first arrived scoring 6 in his first 9. Sadio scored 4 in his first 9, and now Jotter scored 4 in his first 9 as well. So what kind of an impression has he made about them?
Really positive, I think. On and off the pitch, really nice lad. Someone who's settled right in, being able to mingle with the group and be a part of the team straight away, and that's all you can ask really from a player coming in, because it's not easy to come in and settle in so quickly, but he's adapted so well to the team, and he's learning every day and the way that we want to play and how we want to play and how the manager wants him to play. So I think it's positive that he's in and around the team.
Okay, in order we'll go James from TalkSport, Juliet from the BBC, Carl Markham from the Press Association, and we've got plenty more hands up. We'll get to as many as we can. James first.
Brent, you managed to achieve your 100th Premier League appearance on Saturday. Just how do you reflect on what you've already been able to achieve in a Liverpool shirt?
Yes, a dream really. Something that I'm incredibly proud of myself. Something that I think you can only dream of as a kid is to make 100 Prem games, and you never expect to do so. But it's an amazing achievement for myself. I'm proud of myself. I'm grateful for the opportunities I've been given, because without a lot of help along the way from a lot of people, I'd never be able to make it this far.
We've seen Nate Phillips and Reece Williams come into the side in recent weeks without a huge amount of preparation or a heads up really. What is it about the environment at Liverpool that allows these young players to thrive and come in and be successful straight away?
I think it's just the way that I think what helps a lot is the fact that they're with us in training, and I think in training we're kind of doing the same things. We play and train with the same principles. So the lads are used to the way that we play. They play against it. They understand the messages that the gaffer wants them to play. So for us, it's about making sure that there's an environment there that they can just be themselves and enjoy the football that they play.
Juliet, are you okay to go next, please?
Yeah, I hope so. Hey there, Trent, you alright? It's just a quick one, sort of following on from that, really. Like the 4 games since Virgil got injured, you've gone on, you've gone on to win them. You've lost other players to injury as well, and you've had those setbacks. The manager's called it tricky. You know it's tricky. So where does that sort of resilience, that extra strength come from? Is it like a band of brothers, and you just feel that everything's against you, so you're just going to go that little bit further? Yeah,
I mean, we've felt like that for maybe the last few years, is that all that matters is the circle that we're in, the team that we're in. Other people's opinions on the outside, and people have opinions and say things and stuff like that, but as long as we're focused on what we want to achieve and what we can achieve and know that we can achieve, especially now knowing that we can achieve these things and we can go far in the Champions League, we can go far in the title race, knowing that gives us that belief that anything can happen. And no matter what the setbacks are, no matter what players we lose through injury and whatever, that we're still able to achieve these things.
Thank you very much, Jules. Carl, then Paul Joyce, then Chris Bascombe in that order, and we've still got a few more to go through. Carl.
Hi, Trent.
Right.
Not wishing to dwell on that sort of defensive side of things, but when you lose Virgil and then you've got changing centre backs every game because of other injuries or whatever situation, how does your situation change in terms of how you personally approach the game, and do you feel you need to take on more responsibility because of that?
I think that's part of football. I think you've got to adapt to situations because it's never going to be the same team every week. It's never going to be ideal. So you've got to be ready mentally and physically to adapt in any given situation. And I think the way that we've went about it, the mentality that the manager's instilled in us over the last few years has definitely helped us to be able to adapt in any situation. I think there's been many of important games where we've missed some very important plays and we've still been able to come out ahead, and I think that's obviously happening right now. Obviously missing Virgil, massive player for us, and it's been probably one of the weirdest tests that we've had, because since he's came in, I don't think he's really missed any really minutes of football. So for him to not be with us is something that we haven't really experienced, but it's a new experience and it's something that we've had to adapt to.
Okay, Paul Joyce from the Times, and then Chris Bascombe from the Telegraph, and then I think we'll go through a few more on the hands up list. Paul first.
Hi Trent, I was just wondering, it's the last week at Melwood this week, what specific memories do you have maybe as a schoolboy peering through the wall and also coming up to Melwood for the first time? And just second question, just to follow up Carl's point, have you personally felt you needed to maybe step up more in the past couple of games because you're a key member of the team now in response to the injuries? So just Melwood first, really.
Yeah, I think Melwood for me growing up was, I think Anfield, and that was always special for me to be able to go and to experience the atmosphere and everything. But I think for me growing up, Melwood was where I always wanted to get to, because it was a day-to-day basis. It was somewhere that you see the cars going past. I'd see the cars going past mine on Queen's Drive and going into Melwood and stuff like that. And that was somewhere that I always wanted to be and to achieve to get there. So that was kind of my motivation. And Melwood more than Anfield itself, because if I could get to Melwood, it'd give me an amazing chance. And I always had that vision of what it would be like inside, how would it be like, who would be in there, what would the staff like, everything like that would just motivate so much. So I think it was just an amazing place for me growing up in my childhood. And then obviously, like you said about your second question about the leadership and stepping up and stuff, I think I think that's something I've thought about myself, is that I think I've made enough appearances now and had enough experience to class myself as not a young player anymore and someone who needs to step up in these moments. I think when you miss such a leader and probably the captain of the back four really in Virgil, then it gives others and the rest of the back four an opportunity. I think it'd be difficult to say that me or Robbo or Joe or something like that could step in and do exactly what Virgil does, because we're not the same type of player, and it's not easy to do something like that. But I think the players who are really consistently in the back line can step forward and come together and make sure that presence isn't missed as much as possible, then it puts us in a good place. And I think so far we've been able to do that.
Thank you, Chris. You need to take yourself off mute because I had to put you on because we're getting a bit of feedback. Then we're going to go to Marina Bellotti and then back to Per from TV2 Norway. But Chris first.
You can hear me all right now?
We can hear you fine.
Great. Just going back to that very first question, Vinny asked you up the Villa game, because it's very hard to the outside to think it was just something that you you know, you could only just struggle. It's 4 wins and a draw since then. The action's been so strong. But was there no harsh words at all within the group? Was there no meeting when you came back from the international break, or was it all just internal pride that you felt you had to respond to that?
I think that there was a meeting when we came back, but I think we always have a meeting anyway. So it weren't out of the ordinary that we had that meeting. So it was always going to happen no matter what the result was or what matter the score was, so that didn't change anything. But I think it was more about self-reflection in that period and knowing that can't happen. It was kind of a one-off. To concede 7 goals is unacceptable, but I think it's about learning them things. It kind of humbled us, I'd say, as a team. And let us know again that we don't just win games because we're Liverpool and the history of the club and the players that we've got. It's our mentality, it's the people it's the work that we put in, and if we're not 100% then things happen. I think it weren't an outrageously bad performance from us, but it was our mentality went there on the day, and we got punished for it. So since then we've been able to really focus on that, and I think looking back on the last 2 years especially, that's what's got us to where we are now, is our mentality, and being able to come back from any position, being able to break through walls and kick doors down in that respect. And I think since that game we've been able to get back into that stride a little bit.
Last couple of questions now. Marina, followed by Per, and then I think we're going to try and finish with Patrick as well. So Marina, over to you.
Sì, buongiorno, qui da Bergamo. L'Atalanta è il miglior attacco della Serie A già dall'anno scorso e giocheranno dal primo minuto, giocherà Zapata.
There was a second, Marina, sorry, it's got the translation. Can you hear, Trent?
No.
L'Atalanta già dall'anno scorso è il miglior attacco della Serie A. Domani giocherà come titolare Zapata. Voglio sapere se è il giocatore che temi di più come difensore per la sua fisicità e se preferiresti che fosse affiancato dal primo minuto da Ilicic oppure da Muriel, visto che sono i 2 giocatori in ballottaggio.
I think an amazing team. I think we've seen that last year. I think it's tough to just pick 1 or 2 players out and say that it's that's the reason why they're so good and such an amazing attacking force. I think obviously the strikers score the goals, but it's a team game, and I think for us we've got to analyse the full team and be aware of what threats they pose. So yeah, I think we'll do our analysis. We'll be able to see what they're good at and try and stop that. And equally, we'll try and get our game plan right to hurt them going the other way.
Fantastic. Okay, thank you, Per. And then we're finishing with Patrick. Patrick, before we come to you, I'll ask if you're going to ask it in English or Italian. I'm not sure if you're from our visitors. Per, first from TV2 Norway.
Yeah, hi Trent.
Hi.
Tomorrow it's Atalanta, obviously, but the last 3 times you visit Italy, it has ended with defeat for Liverpool. In your opinion, what's the most difficult with facing Italian teams, and how do you guys grab a win tomorrow?
I think Italian teams are notoriously really good defensively, really well organised, hard to break down, and for us it's about finding a way to do that. I don't think it's right to really say that it's because they're specifically Italian teams that we struggle. Maybe it's just because we're not there on the day, or the opposition have really played well. So I think we have to look at that. We have to put the past results behind us and not dwell on them. But also it's the first time we're facing Atalanta tomorrow, so it's something new and something that we need to adjust to as soon as possible. So I think tomorrow will be a good game, and hopefully we'll get the 3 points.
Okay, final question is from Patrick. Patrick, are you asking in English or Italian? Sorry, I'm just judging off the sound.
Sì.
In Italian?
Sì.
Yeah, George, wait for the headphones. Perfect. Fire away, Patrick.
Okay. Ciao Trent, piacere. Patrick Iannarelli, ti volevo chiedere, conoscete l'Atalanta? Avete visto qualche partita? Quali sono secondo te i punti di forza di questa squadra?
I think, like I said before, it's the team that they have, the way that they work as a unit, the way that they attack together, defend together. It's really good. It's fluid. It's a real team. Is the best compliment I can pay to them. I think all the way throughout the team they have the right mentality, the right way of going about things. So I think that the fact that they were the best attacking side in Serie A last year is important for us to know. So that's something that we need to think about and we need to look at, which we will do. And like I said before, we'll hopefully be able to get our game plan right and make sure that we come away with the 3 points.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you very much, everyone. And that concludes our press conference. We'll speak to some of you after the game, I'm sure. Thank you.